Thunder over Sagami Bay, Japan's F-35Bs land on Izumo. Headlines flashed as the sun rose over the Pacific. The world watched as stealthy F-35Bs hovered and thumped down onto the JS Izumo, catching the morning mist in their slipstreams. Deck crews rushed forward, guiding the jets with glowing wands as the roar of vertical landings echoed across the water. For Japan, this was more than a demonstration. It was a statement. The rising sun had returned to carrier power. Japan's path to carrier aviation was slow and cautious, shaped by memories of World War II and a pacifist constitution. But as regional tensions grew, Japan quietly stretched the limits of its helicopter destroyers. The Izumo class, launched in 2013, soon gained the F-35 signaling a new era. Japan's carrier ambition was finally realized, cautious, adaptive, and determined. By 2026, Japan had become the world's second-largest F-35 operator, trailing only the United States. This leap was deliberate. Tokyo ordered over 140 F-35s, including more than 40 F-35Bs for the Izumo and Kaga. The jets were assembled in Japan, bringing new jobs and skills to the nation's aerospace industry. Why such a big buy? First, Japan's older fighter jets, F-4 Phantoms and F-15Js, needed replacement. Second, the F-35's stealth and sensor fusion offered a technological edge over rivals. But there was also the carrier plan. The F-35B was the only fighter that could operate from the Izumo class without catapults. The numbers tell the story. Only the US Navy and Marine Corps can field more F-35 jets at sea. Japan's order dwarfed those of other allies, like the United Kingdom, Italy, and Australia. It made Japan the centerpiece of Allied air power in Northeast Asia. This surge in F-35 strength transformed Japan from a regional air force to a player with global reach, one of the few countries able to project advanced air power from ships. Japan's new carrier power did not emerge in a vacuum. The regional security environment grew tense over the past decade. China's Navy launched its own carriers and began regular sorties near Japanese waters. The South and East China Seas bristled with disputes. North Korea tested missiles with alarming frequency, some flying over Japanese territory. Every time a Chinese carrier group sailed near Okinawa, Tokyo's resolve hardened. Satellite images showed Chinese J-15 jets drilling over contested seas. In the Taiwan Strait, tensions threatened to ignite at any moment, a scenario that could draw in Japan, willingly or not. Japanese strategists saw the writing on the wall. The ability to launch jets from ships, far from home airfields, became not just a wish, but a necessity. The F-35B's ability to fly, land, and take off from moving decks gave Japan a flexible answer to new threats. As the shadows grew in the Pacific, Japan's carrier ambitions shifted from possible to urgent, an answer to dangers that could no longer be ignored. The United States played a critical role in Japan's return to carrier aviation. American carriers have long visited Japanese ports, and the two navies have exercised together for decades. But now, the partnership took on a new dimension. U.S. Marines were the first to fly F-35Bs from Izumo's deck, testing every system and sharing hard-won carrier know-how. American instructors trained Japanese crews, from pilots to deck handlers. The Izumo class was modified with U.S. input, deck coatings, elevators, and landing systems all tailored for the F-35B. Joint exercises became more ambitious. American and Japanese F-35Bs landed and launched side by side. The message was clear. These carriers could operate with and support U.S. Navy strike groups. In a crisis, they would fight together. This alliance gave Japan confidence. It also sent a warning to rivals. The Pacific's security would be defended by more than just one navy. Turning the Izumo and her sister ship Kaga into real aircraft carriers was a feat of engineering. The first step was strengthening the decks. F-35Bs land with far more force than helicopters. Special heat-resistant coatings were applied to withstand the blast of vertical landings. Elevators and hangars were upgraded to handle larger, heavier jets. The ski jump ramps seen on British and Italian carriers were considered but ultimately left out. Japan's F-35Bs would rely on their own power for short takeoffs. Inside, advanced command systems and radar suites were modernized to control both air and sea battles. Flight deck crews trained day and night. Simulation rooms buzzed with practice emergencies, engine fires, sudden storms, rescue drills. Every possible scenario was rehearsed, often with American advisors watching and grading. By 2026, the work paid off. Izumo and Kaga could launch and recover multiple F-35Bs in quick succession, making Japan's carrier dream a reality. The F-35B isn't just another fighter. For Japan, it's a force multiplier. Its stealth design allows it to approach enemy ships or bases undetected. Its sensors gather and share information in real time, turning the carrier and its escorts into one big, smart team. The F-35B can take off in a short distance and land vertically, which means it can operate from smaller decks and even from remote islands if needed. It carries advanced missiles, bombs, and electronic warfare gear, making it deadly in any fight. Perhaps most important, the F-35B gives Japan a flexible response tool. Jets can fly hundreds of miles from the carrier, patrol over disputed islands, or protect convoys far from home. In a crisis, they can be anywhere, fast. For Japanese pilots and sailors, the F-35B is a symbol of new capability, and a signal that Japan is ready for whatever comes next. Japan wasted no time putting its new carriers and jets to the test. In the first months after certification, Izumo and Kaga sailed with full complements of F-35Bs for multinational exercises. Drills ranged from simulated air battles to amphibious landings on remote islands. Night operations, a key test of any carrier force, were practiced repeatedly. Jets launched into the blackness, guided only by deck lights and radio calls. Crews ran through crash drills and emergency landings, perfecting their teamwork. Izumo-class ships joined U.S. Navy carrier strike groups for complex scenarios. They practiced defending and attacking enemy fleets, dodging simulated missile barrages, and coordinating with submarines and patrol aircraft. Every exercise sharpened skills and built trust with allied navies. These achievements weren't just technical. They proved to Japan and to its neighbors that the country was once again a carrier power to be taken seriously. South Korea too dreamed of a carrier fleet. For years, Seoul studied concepts for a light aircraft carrier, even considering F-35Bs for its navy. Yet, progress stalled. Political debates raged over cost and strategy. Some leaders wanted to focus on land-based air power and missile defense, given North Korea's threat. Funding was a major hurdle. The carrier project's price tag rose, and budget priorities shifted. Unlike Japan, South Korea lacked previous large deck ships to convert. Any carrier would have to be built from scratch, a slow and expensive process. Design debates also slowed things down. Should the carrier be small, like Japan's, or larger and able to launch more jets? Should it focus on amphibious assault or pure air power? No clear answer emerged. While Seoul hesitated, Japan accelerated. By 2026, South Korea's carrier plans remained on paper, while Japan's F-35Bs were already flying from the open sea. Japan's return to carrier aviation is not without challenges. Operating carriers is expensive and complex. Pilots and crews need constant training. Maintaining stealth fighters at sea requires new skills and logistics. There are also political questions. Japan's constitution still limits offensive operations. Public debates continue. What missions are defensive, and when can carriers be used far from home? As Japan's navy grows stronger, so do calls for transparency and accountability. Outside Japan, some neighbors watch warily. China and North Korea see the carriers as a threat. Even some allies urge Japan to consult closely before deploying its new power. Still, most experts agree. Japan's naval future is brighter than at any time in generations. The country is ready, if it chooses, to help keep the Pacific open and secure. The sight of F-35Bs landing on Japanese decks marked more than a new chapter in technology. It was a signal that Japan's role in the Pacific and the world was changing. The country now commands the region's most advanced carrier force outside the United States. But, with power, comes responsibility. Can Japan balance old anxieties with new realities? Will its leaders use these carriers only for defense or for wider missions with allies? And how will neighbors respond to this dramatic shift? One thing is clear. Japan's carrier dream is now real. The world will watch to see how the rising sun navigates its future at sea and on the stage of history.